Hamilton's view, and you can find it in detail in Joseph Story's commentaries on the Constitution, was this. And it stems from the very first resolution passed at the Constitutional Convention. The federal government was being given power only where the areas where the states were jurisdictionally incompetent. So the Hamilton view of the General Welfare Clause is this. States can pass laws, the federal government can tax and spend for purposes beyond the other enumerated powers, provided two things. Congress concludes that it's in the national interest and not a local interest and not somebody's personal interest, and that the states have no jurisdiction to spend money on that topic. So it's really simple to figure out how you apply this. And that would make sense with John C. Calhoun's view. Can the states spend money on education? Well, yes. Can the federal government? No. Can the states spend money on welfare? Yes. Can the federal government? No. Can the states spend money on health care? Yes. Can the federal government? No. Anything that the states have jurisdiction to spend money on, the federal government cannot spend money on it under the Hamilton view. And everybody knows they couldn't do it under the Madison view. There's only two examples in all of U.S. history where there's a practical difference in the outcome between Hamilton and Madison. One is purchases, like the Louisiana purchase, the Gadsden purchase, the Alaska purchase. When the federal government bought land to expand the United States, Jefferson, holding to that view, thought it was unconstitutional, but he did it anyway because it's so important. But under the Hamilton view, it was perfectly constitutional because it was for the national interest, and it was something the states couldn't do. The states couldn't buy territory from a foreign country to expand the United States. That's the Hamilton explanation. The other is the space program. There's no enumerated power that would justify the space program. But I think pretty clearly it fits the General Welfare Clause. It is for the national interest, and it's something the states cannot do. So there you have it. It's a really simple rule. And that's the overarching plan of the federal government. The Commerce Clause, by the way, means the same thing in reverse. If the states can regulate it, the federal government can't. The states can regulate banking. The Uniform Commercial Code, Article 2 and 3, it regulates banking. The federal government can't regulate banking, not under the Commerce Clause anyway, because Commerce Clause is a grant of exclusive power. If it's Commerce Clause, the states can't regulate it at all. So what we learn, banking's not commerce. Commerce is shipping stuff. The FAA is a legitimate Commerce Clause power. Planes across state lines, that's commerce. Greyhound buses across state lines, trucking across state lines. It's shipping stuff. That's it. Not manufacturing, not mining, not banking, not all things economic. That's the states. Commerce is the exclusive power of the federal government to make sure that we don't get in trade wars with each other on shipping across state lines. That is exclusively the power. There is no current jurisdiction on any amendment in the U.S. or any subject in the U.S. Constitution that I know of except one. The 21st Amendment gives Congress and the states concurrent jurisdiction on the regulation of alcohol. Otherwise, it's either the federal government or the states. And if the states can regulate it, the Congress cannot. That's the rule that we should have.